What's up, y'all? It's from C, but if you're really trying to be locked and loaded, mascara, you can call me Mellow, period. Thanks for clicking on this video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I achieved this cute style. Period. I'm going to show you how to do the viral Alicia Keys braids or freestyle braids on yourself, period. And could y'all believe this was my first time ever doing feedin cornrows on myself? I've been doing knotless braids on myself, but feedin cornrows? And if I do say so myself, I ate that up. And I'm going to show you how to eat this up as well. But definitely stay tuned for the process and to see how I got this result. And how you can do it on yourself or others. Period. One more time for the crowd. One more time for the crowd. Stay tuned.
To begin this process, I started by blow drying my hair. I have 4C hair, and y'all, I'm on this little natural hair journey. I used my MacBook Pro to mirror the screen so that I could see in the back of my head and part it. Now, just by looking at the back of your nape, like, it really can tell you a lot about your hair. The back of my nape is very small. The braids itself would end up overlapping each other or just not fitting because of the fact that I don't have enough space at the back of my neck, like at the back of my nape. So the solution for this problem is I added 2 rows of knotless braids. What this does is this allows the cornrows to start from a higher point and a higher surface area so that I would have enough space and the braids won't end up overlapping or just simply not fitting. It allows me to have a good amount of braids, basically. So you definitely have to look at the back of your neck and see if it can accommodate the amount of individual braids or cornrows that you would like. And looking through my MacBook screen, I started by parting my hair, but I pre-part everything into sections so that when I'm actually braiding, it's a lot easier and I don't have to keep stopping and parting. I could just add the gel and continue on my jolly way. For knotless braids, you start with a regular braid, and when you get back to the right side is when you feed in. You grab the piece of hair and kind of wrap it around your index finger and your thumb. Feed it into the braid. Slide that same piece of hair that you grabbed between your pointer finger that's holding the braid down. And every time you get back to the right side, you feed in another piece of hair until you get to the size you want. You want to start with like a small piece, then move on to medium, then a larger piece. It just depends on the size and the thickness of the braid that you actually want. So I'd say use your discretion in that part. The styling gel that I used, I got it from Amazon, and I like to feel the braid and smooth it out just to make sure I'm going right. Sometimes while you're braiding your own hair, it can get a little bit jumbled together, so smoothing it out really helps, like with the flow of everything and making sure the braid looks sensible. My biggest struggle when doing braids is the sizing and trying to get everything the exact same size and being on one accord, basically. You know, get the time for the head and the bad energy, but my mind on my mind. Make you dance like steady clean like broccoli. Steady on my grind. After I'm done with my 2 rows of knotless braids, I part my hair down the middle, and whether you do 1 or 2 rows, it depends on the amount of cornrows that you want. After I'm done sectioning it down the middle, I start on my first cornrow. I part it down the middle so that I can have an even amount of braids and I won't mess myself up in terms of space and parting on one side when it's supposed to be on the other side, and it just prevents everything from overlapping and smoothly sitting where it's supposed to sit. The first braid is done. Like, this is literally my first ever feedin braid, and I feel like I'm doing so good. Like, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. Like, but let me not get too excited because we still got more to go. Yeah. And I part this almost by my ear so that I can have enough space for all of the cornrows. Getting toward the areas of the design, I part out a big section and then I start to make the hook. I section off that piece where the first hook is gonna be. Y'all, I was so proud of that first cornrow. And I make a hook in the other direction. Then I add some gel to the part and define the part by using a small metal end of my edge brush. Now, feedin cornrows is very similar to knotless braids. You section off a little piece at the beginning and begin to make a regular braid 2 to 3 times to build that base and foundation so it doesn't look so loose and empty at the beginning. And then you feed in the braid by putting the hair over your index finger and your thumb finger, and you feed it into the index finger that's holding down the braid that you're doing. Then you continue with a regular cornrow and feed in again once you get to the right side. And you keep doing that until you have the actual size that you want. Now for sizing for the cornrows, I don't even know how much of each size that I added. I just added as I feel was needed. I'd say for reference, you could count how much I'm adding because I don't have an exact number, but for reference, you could stay on the same number. Use like 4 small pieces, 4 medium-sized pieces, and 4 large pieces. Like I say, it all depends on the size that you want. The bigger the size, the bigger the braid. The smaller the size, the smaller the braid. So use whatever you think would work best with the size that you're trying to achieve. And y'all, for my first time, this was looking good. Like I was starting to get a little excited. I match up the length of that first cornrow and every other cornrow that I do to the knotless braids in the back so that it can be even throughout. Even though I ended up cutting it way shorter than I actually braided, so I didn't even need to. But having them the same length just keeps everything on one accord. But when doing cornrows, you have to think ahead. You can't just think on the current one that you're actually doing. You have to think ahead on the ones that follow afterward, making sure they'd be able to fit in a nice spot. This also avoids overlapping. After I finished that braid, I started working on the other hook in the other direction. So I'm doing 1 hook in the right direction and 1 hook in the left direction going the opposite way. So I started parting that out and section it because like I say, you have to think ahead of the current braid that you're actually doing to make sure that it can fit in the space that you wanted to. After I parted the hook in the opposite direction, I start on the braid that's gonna lay in between those 2 hooks. Start again with the regular braid and then feed in hairs as you go. And then I define that hook a little bit more and add in more hair to it so that it can be a good size. After you add in that gel, you want to make sure that you comb everything out and smooth it out. And looking back at it, I could have made the hook more defined because now it looks like a middle braid and that hook is overlapping. So definitely when you're parting, make sure everything is defined and you could actually distinguish which braid is which. But like I say, I'm a beginner myself, so I'm just putting you on to how I did my braids for the first time. How I ended up redoing that second braid that I do because I just didn't like how it looked, and I'm really I'm a perfectionist. I like things to look uniform and not so raggedy. Then after that, I started parting out a curved braid that's gonna basically be on top of those other braids that I did.
Funkilla.
And I define my part with the metal end of my edge brush because it just looks more precise and straight.
Them call it broken heart, this blessed love will never part. They don't know it from the start, but tell them say I'm dirty, yeah.
Sean Paul and Sasha.
Now at this part, I made a deep curved part and sectioned that off to come back to after I finished the braid in front of it. Like I say, you really have to think ahead of what you actually want to do. I can't stress that enough. And the braid in front of that, it's going to be curved. It's kind of falling on the other side of that middle part, so it crosses over that middle part to be kind of curved. Now that part we sectioned off earlier, I split it into two, and I have the part aligning with the braid ahead of it. So it's not starting at the top of my head where every other braid is. It's kind of like a middle braid. It falls in between those other braids. And this is what I mean. It's in between the other braid, and that's the regular curved braid that was on the other side of the middle part.
Honestly, look in my eyes. Don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy. Make me believe it.
So I start on the other in between braid that is kind of more ahead of that last one that we just did. Starts at a higher point than the last braid. Even though I'm mirroring my screen, like I say, feeling the braid itself helps me with sizing to let me know if I need to add more hair or less hair. And sizing has never been my strong suit when braiding my own hair. Sizing and pardon, they be killing me. So the braids weren't like the exact same size, but that's definitely something I have to work on as I'm braiding. And that goes for me with my own hair and other people's hair. And like I said, with that first braid, you want to do it more behind the ear. Like let it fall behind the ear, not on the actual part in space, because it just saves space because that braid isn't really in the way. And on this side, it's pretty much identical as the other side. You make one hook and then part out the section, make the other hook, and then you make the in-between braid. So this side is basically just like the last side, and it's kind of self-explanatory. So you could watch back to what I was saying on the other side, and it will help you through this side as well.
When we rewind, feels so nice. With time, you I know how to make me feel right. I can't help how this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk, you need to say let's do, babe. Don't need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. Talk to me nice.
After you do the curved braid after the hook, you make a curved regular braid that's gonna be ahead of that. When I get to the last two braids, I part it out to find the part with the rat tail comb at first, and then the metal end of the comb. I add the gel to it, comb it out, and then start on the braiding process. I didn't record me braiding in the last braid, but like I said, it's just a regular curved braid straight down the middle. So I probably didn't think I had to be as detailed with that one, since it was not much design or anything in it, just kind of curved and going down the middle. I don't have any footage of this either, but I tipped my hair in some hot water, and now I'm adding on the beads to it. As I add on the bead, I made sure they were the same size, but since I was looking down and up so much and wasn't in front of an actual mirror while making sure they were the same size, the sizes were kind of off. But I went back after and fixed it. But I just cut off all the excess braids that was left after I added the beads. And then after that, I added some mousse to my hair and a little bit of oil, did my edges, tied it down with a silk wrap, and blow dry it on heat. And that is the end result, y'all. I really loved how this turned out, and it was definitely testing my creativity. And for someone that's a beginner and has never done feedin cornrows before, me doing designs was testing my limits, testing my patience, testing my skill. But you know what? I did it, and if I can do it, you can do it too. So I hope this tutorial was helpful and that you can achieve this as well.
Tell me some content ideas you would like to see, or you would like me to do, or styles you would like me to attempt, and I'll definitely try to make an effort to attempt them, period. Because hold don't like looking cute on a budget. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the post notification bell to be notified every single time I drop a new video. Stay tuned for more content, and if you like this video, definitely join the family because we lit over here, period. Definitely stay tuned.